One of the most common questions people ask about retirement is, when can I retire? And what's been interesting to observe over nearly 16 years helping families here in the state of Utah, there are some families who retire as soon as they possibly can, whether they know they're able to or not. And there are some families who work well into their late 60s, sometimes even to their early 70s, because they've never sat down and understood, can they retire? And here's what I want you to understand. A good, true financial plan, one that looks at all 5 pillars of a true retirement: taxes, investments, income, healthcare, and estate or legacy, helps someone understand with precision when they can retire, when they should retire, and what it looks like. And what's been so interesting to me is I've met with hundreds of families over the years. And there are some couples who come in soaring mad. I got to retire tomorrow because I can't handle my boss. I'm done with it. I don't want to go back to work ever again. And we run through the figures, we run through the numbers, we build a comprehensive plan for them and actually show them that financially they could pull the trigger tomorrow if they really wanted to. In some cases, clients have taken us up on that offer and they've retired literally the next week. But what's been interesting is that some clients look at that and realize that they're working now because they're choosing to, not because they feel like they've got a ball and chain making them, because otherwise they're going to be destitute. Knowing where you stand financially gives you the confidence to either pull the trigger on retirement and do so with confidence, or stay with your employer, stay with work for a few more years if you really want to, but on your terms, on your choices. We've also had conversations that are not necessarily as fun, where someone says, hey, I just really want to retire. But when we run some projections, we look at the 5 pillars, we go through the readiness assessment, it's just not time yet. But there's something powerful in knowing, hey, if we choose to stay engaged for another year, maybe 2 years, our success probability in terms of making sure we're okay through age 90 or 95 goes up from 70% to 95%. And now we're working towards a goal that has a true outcome and a true benefit. And we found that for some clients, that can be extremely powerful as well. It's motivating to know the finish line's right there. We just have a few more miles of the race that we need to finish. But here's what I want to make sure you understand. One of the biggest challenges we see in retirement is delaying for too long out of a lack of clarity. Whether you should retire at 60 or 65 or 70 is unique to you, but our belief is very simple. You deserve to know. You deserve to know, can you pull the trigger on retirement and go enjoy the things you need to do and the things you deserve to do, the things you've worked so hard to do? Can we work for another year or two? And what are the benefits for doing that? And does it actually impact our long-term success rate? These are the conversations that help people enter into retirement with more clarity, more confidence, and more enjoyment. But I will tell you this, it pertains to Social Security, it pertains to retirement. What we see all the time is this confusion, and confusion never leads to a happy retirement. What we want our clients to do, what we try every single day to do for people we sit down with, is empower them with the choices they can make to live the retirement they've deserved. I say this, and I've said it before, I'll say it many, many more times throughout my career. Financial planning is what we do, and I'm very, very proud of that. We are very good at it. I've worked very hard, and all of our entire team has worked very hard to build a firm that does a great job of planning. But the true outcome of our work is not a written financial plan, although that's something that our clients do receive. The true outcome of our work is giving clients the clarity and confidence they deserve to enjoy the retirement they've earned. A retirement that's worthy of 20 or 30 or 40 years of hard work and sacrifice. Because what we've seen from real people, real clients over nearly 16 years now, is retirement really does have 3 stages. It has what we call the go-go years. That's when you're hopefully traveling 2 or 3 times a year. You're visiting the grandbabies. Maybe you're going to your grandkids' baseball games or soccer games you're traveling with. You're going, guys. You're doing all the fun stuff you deserve to do. Then you enter the slow-go years. Typically, we see that around age 75. The slow-go years, maybe you're still traveling, but maybe it's once a year. Maybe it's only a cruise where you can kind of park on one spot and just kind of relax. It's not a European adventure where you're traveling to 15 different cities over 12 days. And that goes typically from 75 to maybe early 80s. And then you enter in what's called the no-go years. These are the years where physically it becomes too daunting to really travel much. It doesn't feel good to sit on a bus as a tourist in a foreign city. And it sure doesn't feel like fun to walk through a crowded airport in TSA and then be on an airplane for 4 hours. And so the joy that we take from helping clients know they can retire, and in some cases sooner than they ever thought, is giving them the opportunity to go out and enjoy the go-go years when they're physically and mentally able to do so. What we don't want to see for anyone is they put off retirement to the stages of life where they physically can't really maximize the time they have to go out and do things. And one of my favorite examples of this is a wonderful client. I won't share her name because I bet she ends up seeing this. But we had a client come and sit down with us. This was about 2 years ago now. Her husband was already retired and he really wanted her to join him. But she was thoroughly convinced that if she retired before the age of 70, numerically speaking, it was going to be the end of the world. And so our job was to step in and bring clarity and confidence to the confusion that she was surrounding herself with. We ran the reports, we ran the projections, we looked at taxes, we looked at healthcare, we looked at investments, we looked at income, we looked at every last piece of the puzzle. And what we showed her was if she wanted to pull the trigger literally next week, she could do so. And I remember sitting there and seeing her get emotional, knowing that she was going to be okay. And she would actually do this thing that she wanted so badly, but was so afraid to actually step into the unknown and do. And that's a fair and common feeling. If you do it right, most people retire once. And the fear that comes of stepping into the unknown, you're not sure if you can actually do it or not, is a really common and natural feeling. And the fun thing is that we as financial planners, we help people retire literally every week. And so while one person may retire once in their life, Momentum Wealth helps someone retire every week or every month. And we can take all that experience and all that calmness of knowing what we need to pay attention to, what pitfalls they might face, and the ways to avoid those pitfalls allows us to hopefully help the client borrow our confidence until it becomes their own. But you can't do that without a true plan. If you don't know where your income is going to come from in retirement, what account should we draw from first? How long will it last? What are the tax implications if we draw from account or drew from account A versus account B? What are the tax consequences of withdrawals in general across our portfolio? With our investments, if we're looking at that pillar, how are those investments positioned to withstand withdrawals in retirement? Because remember, once we retire, we're not putting money into our plan, we're pulling out. So the sequence the market reacts does impact our success. These are all things that we need to position understanding around. And the beautiful part about doing this for as long as we have and helping the thousands of families we've been fortunate enough to help over the years is we get to take their experience, their background, and all the knowledge that we've had from years and years of doing this and let you borrow it and say, how do we apply this to you? How do we apply this to your world, to your situation, so you can have the clarity and the confidence you deserve to enjoy the retirement you've worked so hard for? If we need to work longer, let's know what that deadline is. If we can retire sooner, let's know. And if we can start having more fun sooner, great. Guys, the goal of a true financial plan, if you think about it in its most simplistic levels, a true plan is going to tell you one of two things. Either one, we can retire and how much can we spend? And that last piece of the puzzle, guys, is a big one. We want to know how much can we spend successfully to make sure that we're still okay at age 92 like we are at age 67. Or number two, a true plan is going to show us we can't retire just yet, but here's the date we can. Either way, we have clarity, we have confidence, and we can step forward on that path. And that's the reason why we named our process what we named it. We want to retire forward. So if you're not crystal clear on when you can retire, how much money can you safely withdraw from your investments over the course of your retirement? How likely are you to be okay financially at age 92 versus 67? What would be the impact of a large medical issue, let's say late in your 80s? These are the type of questions that no one's ever answered for you, the good news is we can, and we will. I encourage you, come sit down with our team of advisors. Let's build out a retire forward process specifically designed to you and your personal situation. And let's make sure you have that confidence you deserve so you can go out and enjoy the retirement you've worked so hard. We look forward to sharing that with you.